Hey, everybody. I'm glad to have you with us. Thanks for tuning in. Matt and Carla, how are you guys doing today?
Okay.
Good.
Nice. We're here because we're going to be doing a walk through the book of James with you guys. We're shifting young adults at this point a little bit because we realize with everybody's shifting schedules, it's hard to get everybody tied together at the same time in the same place. So me and the Fitzner's, we're going to work together to do a Bible study with you guys. Whenever you get a free chance, just tune in. And then we'd love to have some conversation and some back and forth in the comment section. So absolutely, we'd love to hear from you guys, engage with us. And yeah, today we're going to be kicking off. We're digging into the book of James. Carla, did you want to read our section for today? We're going to be starting with a real short section today, but the idea is we're going to walk through the book of James together. And I highly recommend taking some time and reading each chapter as we go through this. But Carla, do you want to take away for today's reading?
So it's 1 James 2-4. Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing.
Absolutely. That's awesome. We started off with verse 2 because verse 1, it just jumps into the point where James is talking about this is for the 12 tribes of Israel. Not all of us here, probably most of us aren't Jewish, but James was writing specifically to a Jewish group of people. They were spread all over the world at that point. But there's still a lot of really, really quality stuff for any of us who are believers to take away from. So I want to encourage you guys dig into this. There's a lot of really good stuff. With that, I've got a few questions that me and Matt and Carla are going to work through, and we'd love to hear your guys' answers on these as well. But the question number one is, what are some trials that you guys are dealing with right now? And even flowing from those, what are possibly some temptations you're dealing with? Matt, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, you bet. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's a pretty crazy time right now for everybody, but there's some new trials for sure that we're not used to. One being the sleeping in for me, and just not thinking about the time, right? Because you're used to a schedule, and normally with work or with whatever you're doing. So just getting used to, keeping, or it's a good practice anyway to keep a good time that you're going to bed, and a good time that you're getting up, because lately it's been like in between 10 and 11 or 12, and then wake up whenever Blake wakes up or something like that. But
yeah.
And you can think that it's okay because you're off, but it definitely has taken a toll, like physically on me for sure.
Absolutely. Carla, how about you?
Mine's a little more intense, spiritual than Matt's. For me, I think we just kind of realized this last night. I think because change, like we've adapted pretty well. Matt's been home for 3 weeks, and you just kind of go on with life and do your stuff. But I think the heaviness of it kind of hit me actually last night. So I would say the trial and test for me is to remain at peace. Just there's so many articles on Facebook that I've been reading just about the coronavirus and everything. So yeah, I don't think I realized that it was weighing on me quite heavily and giving me just an unsettled state of mind and emotions. Just with, people saying the government and health officials are all lying and controlling versus they're actually looking out for our best interests and stuff like that. So those kind of big topics just make me at unease a little bit.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I was even saying like Blake, our baby, just having Matt home, even was affected by the change. And he's just a little baby. He just didn't like nurse for like 40 hours. And so they say nursing strikes are just due to just different changes in environment, or it could be anything. But that's pretty substantial. 40 hours is a long time for a little baby. So just to realize that if that Matt just being home and us just the house routine just being different for Blake, like it has to affect us too. And so, yeah, I'd say just challenge to stay at peace for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, for me, it's probably a lot of you guys know I drive bus as my second job, and when everything first started, like talking about quarantine, I was told, hey, the school board is going to be taking care of everything, and we're going to be taken care of until summer. And then I found out the beginning of April, it's like, oh, just kidding, everything changed, and nope, no more paychecks. So I was like, oh, that's exciting. So there goes a large chunk of my income, and I'm not. There's a big temptation at this point to get very overwhelmed and get very worried about a lack of finances. And I guess the big temptation for me is to let that fear fester and to let it grow and consume aspects of my life. But like this verse talks about, it talks about the idea of the testing of our faith produces perseverance. As I lean into this idea of like, okay, I can trust God in this, or I can trust my fear in this. And as I trust God more, it gives a lot of space for my faith to grow and for my faith to be strengthened. It's like a muscle. If it's never exercised, if it's never dealing with stress, the muscle will just exist and it'll even start shrinking. But when you start using your muscles, they get stressed, they break down, they have issues, but then they come back stronger and stronger. So with that, what are some ways we can have joy in this? Because verse 2, it starts off with, consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds. So what are some ways we can have joy in this hard time? Matt and Carla, what are you guys' thoughts?
I think the biggest thing is honestly just reading scripture. Like the Bible and God is where our true and lasting joy comes from. And my grandma and Matt's dad have both told us to read Psalm 91. And so I think there's a lot of people just leaning into God, and like I said, he's where our true joy and lasting joy comes from. So I'm even just saying this to ourselves too. It's not like we've got this done. We're in the word all the time, but we're realizing now that we need to be, and that's truly what's gonna sustain us. And just the hope in God and that he is the one in control is what brings us joy.
Absolutely. I think that's a big piece for all of us to get, like you guys and everybody who's watching, we don't have everything all figured out. We're all walking through this together. And so as we're exploring this, there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes up, and we're excited to walk through this journey with you. But yeah, Matt.
Yeah. I was looking at first as, to what brings you happiness and then joy, just as kind of a process, I guess. So I think that, let me just take a look here. I'm blanking. So yeah, I think the happiness side of it can definitely come from a good routine.
Mm-hmm.
I know, Ryan, you had talked about rhythms in that video with Jason and Justin there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think finding a good rhythms, a good routine. Just don't look at this time as something that's just a vacation or do whatever you want kind of thing, but take the time to make a plan. Like I said, get to bed at a good time, get up at a good time. And I mean, you obviously you can still enjoy yourself too, but I think part of the mental health side of it and the overall happiness comes from a routine. And then to kind of work into that, I think that a big key from happiness to joy, because they are different, is not making it about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
but reaching out to people, just interaction like we are doing right now kind of thing. And
absolutely.
And making sure to, check up on friends and family, stuff like that. So I think the joy side of it comes from not focusing on yourself, but others.
Definitely. That's good. And as we focus on each other, you know, we build this, we can build better community, deeper community. And we can also, like I say it all the time, you know, we're not meant for, to do this life alone. We're meant to do stuff together. We're meant to grow together, to walk together. And it feels a little bit distant, a little bit weird, because we're all separated by physical distance right now, but we're still very much connected, and we can be as connected as we try to be. It's really easy at these points to get really isolated, and that's generally, like, mental health wise and all kinds of stuff, generally unhealthy to be isolating ourselves. For me, this idea of how can we have joy in this time, I think it boils down to, for me at least, the idea of what am I looking to find that joy? You know, if I'm looking to my situation, I can look at all kinds of stuff around my life and be like, oh, well, this isn't great, and this isn't great, and this isn't great, and so therefore my life isn't great. Or I can be thankful for the stuff that I have. Like, I'm really pumped that I get to spend a little more time with my kids these days. It's pretty exciting. More time to sit down and relax with my wife in the mornings instead of like get up, rush out the door, and all that kind of craziness. So there's a lot of really good opportunities to build into things that bring us joy, as well as to focus on the fact that, you know, God is with us in all of this. We're not here doing it on our own. We're not here isolated. As much as we're like isolating from other people, we're not isolated. We still have each other. We still have God, and we've got so much good going on around us. So, yeah, with that said, I want to make sure we're not making these videos too long. So we're hitting about the 12-minute mark. So I think we're going to close it off right now. Do you guys have any final thoughts?
Yeah, just verse 4, it says, so let it grow. Like, that's the beginning. And so that part just kind of stood out to me. Like, this is the time. Just let it. Like, let your relationship with God grow and develop where it needs to go in this time.
Got the time for it now.
Absolutely. Yeah, let it grow. It's a good way to end. Well, thanks guys for tuning in, and have yourselves a great week. We'll see you later.
Thanks, Ryan. See ya.
You bet.